afternoon, everyone, and happy Monday. It's Alyssa Corum and Ken Shreve here with a look at the stock market today. On today's show, we're going to look at the major indexes. The Nasdaq almost at that 14,000 mark. And Ken, we're also going to be analyzing three stocks that presented actionable opportunities today. What do you have for us?
Well, let's take a look at another bullish breakout in the Dow Jones today from Walt Disney. Nvidia finally wakes up from a long slumber, makes a big percentage gain, and finally Cloudflare, NET, a nice breakout today.
All right, let's do it. First, a look at the major indexes. Here is a chart of the Nasdaq, which gained almost 1% for the day. The S&P 500 and Dow closed up about 0.75% each. And Ken, we have the Nasdaq now almost knocking on the door of that 14,000 level. Pretty impressive given where we were just a little over a week ago.
Yeah, and the Nasdaq really didn't have too much trouble punching through the 13,000 level a few weeks back. So we'll see if that 14,000 round number is going to be a resistance level. Sometimes big round numbers like this can be the case. But we've been talking a lot about yellow flags that we see out there in the market. Still buying stocks and still trying small positions on for size, but just recognizing the yellow flags that are out there. But as you guys were talking about on IBD Live this morning, it really does. It is important to pay attention to the action of leading growth stocks. We're still seeing a lot of really good action in individual stocks, so it's probably too early to get really bearish on the market. Just seeing a good crop of stocks still acting well out there.
Yeah, and the leadership appears to be pretty broad-based. I mean, the Russell 2000 small caps continue to perform very strongly here, with that small cap index gaining about 2.3% for the day. So what do you think about that aspect of the market action?
Yeah, I mean, broadening leadership. I mean, 2020, it just seemed like we were always talking about enterprise software stocks, and for good reason. There were just so many stocks in the enterprise software group that were breaking out to new highs, that were leading the market because of excellent fundamentals. But now the leadership has really branched out. We're still seeing pretty good leadership from the software companies, but can't sleep on the semiconductor stocks here. They turned in another really solid day of outperformance, broadly outperformed the Nasdaq today. At last check, the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index was up close to 3%, along with the SMH, which is that popular semiconductor ETF. Oil and gas stocks outperforming as oil prices get closer to $60 a barrel. So, really seeing leadership broadening out here.
All right. And Disney is no small cap stock, but it has been performing very impressively as of late, gaining almost 5% today, Ken, breaking out of this base here. And we have that relative strength line at a new high as well, accompanying this breakout. But we have earnings around the corner, just a couple of days away.
Yeah, that's right. So Disney reports on Thursday, but this is just a really good example of what a bullish technical breakout looks like. Sometimes breakouts can be begrudging. Stocks can kind of limp through buy points in light volume. This was just a good, solid, heavy volume breakout for Disney. The company is still bleeding a lot of red ink, and that's going to be the case Thursday when they report earnings and sales, but all attention obviously is on Disney Plus, their fast-growing streaming service. There's optimism that this is still going to continue to grow nicely and eventually help the bottom line for Disney. And then with these coronavirus vaccines, optimism that maybe their theme parks are going to start to come back to life and see crowds. That could be a while before that happens, but there's just a lot of optimism about all of Disney's businesses at this point.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to keep an eye on some of that guidance and color from management on the quarterly call. We do ideally like having a cushion of 5 to 10% heading into these quarterly earnings reports, but investors could have maybe bought the bounce or Disney clearing this downward sloping trend line and then adding to their positions today. But we do still have a couple of days, so ultimately investors can make that decision whether to sell or hold into earnings, leading right up until right before the quarterly report comes out.
Yeah, and you can also look at an option trade if you think that Disney could see more upside after earnings. You just go to the research tab at the on the top of the homepage of investors.com, and then from the research tab there's the earnings preview story. And we looked at Disney, we looked at Take-Two, we looked at 3 enterprise software firms. So just making sure the premiums are not overly expensive, getting a strike price that's pretty close to the underlying stock price. So yeah, earnings options are a great way to get exposure to a stock without taking on unnecessary risk so close to earnings.
Yeah, that's right. I was trying to see if I could find your article. We've been covering Disney very thoroughly
Yeah,
lately.
you,
Is
you
this the
got it
one?
right there. Yeah, that's it. Disney
Perfect.
stock,
All
take
right.
two. Yep, hold support. Yep.
So you can also get to some of the news articles that we mentioned right here within MarketSmith as well. Pretty handy. And next, let's take a look at Nvidia. So Ken, Nvidia has shown in the past that it has that leadership capability, can just really produce that outperformance for investor portfolios. But it's been taking a break. Today, do you think maybe the tide is changing a little bit?
Well, listen, this was an unequivocally bullish move for the stock. We have held this on leaderboard since it initially joined leaderboard all the way back in April. Remember when we got the follow through days for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq? Right, that's about where we got Nvidia when it was breaking out of that base around 260, 270, wherever it was. So it's been a really big winner on leaderboard. But when it came time, we were starting to think about raising some cash and lowering our exposure. There was some debate saying that this really looks like a lagging stock, and is it really worthwhile holding it? We actually got rid of AMD in the leaderboard portfolio, but we gave Nvidia the benefit of the doubt because we had such a nice gain in it, and we still believed in the company's growth
Yes.
story. So we're going to see really strong growth again at the end of this month when Nvidia reports. But I thought today's move was just decidedly bullish. It broke out over that recent high, a very legitimate buy point of $600.07. So to me, it looks very actionable here still.
All right. Yeah, great to see Nvidia perking back up for sure. And another in stock, Cloudflare, ticker NET, breaking out of a base today. This stock gaining almost 7% here, slightly above average volume, similar to Disney in that it does have earnings just 3 days away, but very strong top line growth with Cloudflare. Speaking of those enterprise software stocks, Ken, and Cloudflare went on a very nice run, and it's forming a base again and provided a breakout today.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, a very clear buy point here of $88.87. You had some good, pretty decent volume ahead of the move. So this is one because of strong fundamentals and strong technicals. Rather than buy the stock before earnings because it's acting well, look at a strike price. The stock closed today around 91.20. Maybe look at a strike price around 92, something like that, and then just make sure the premium that you're paying for that 92 strike price is not more than 4% of the stock price at the time. So that's a way you can find good, reasonably priced option trades. You're not putting out a lot of money for the opportunity to control 100 shares of stock, and so Cloudflare could make sense as well for an option trade.
Yeah, and really being able to manage your risk really nicely with that type of trade there as well. So we're going to keep an eye on earnings for Cloudflare and Disney this week, among others, as the market continues to provide a lot of actionable stocks and some really good looking charts, Ken.
Yeah, well, it's when Mark Minervini was on IBD Live, I believe, early last week. He actually made an interesting statement. He's like, I don't get bogged down too much by watching the day-to-day action in the major stock indexes. I've got this universe of stocks that I watch, that I either own, that are on my watch list, and I think all of us kind of do it the same way as well. So we're just looking at all the stocks that we're following, all the strong stocks on our screens, and if we're seeing a lot of stocks acting well, it's telling us that the market the market itself is acting pretty well. So again, we've got some yellow flags out there. Any new buys that are being made now are not aggressive bets where you're backing the truck up and getting overly exposed. You're just taking a little nibble and letting the market tell you if that new buy was timed right. So seeing a lot of good action in the market. Realize there's a possibility for a pullback, especially as the Nasdaq approaches 14,000. But we're still in a confirmed uptrend, and that needs to be respected.
Yeah, very well said, Ken. Thanks so much for your insights today. And thank you all for watching. And for more in-depth market insights and a look at actionable stocks and portfolio management strategies, you can get that over at IBD Live every morning, our daily morning live stream, where we're sharing our screens and having a good time, answering some questions, getting a good amount of educational content there as well. We're definitely giving the audience a lot of fish, no doubt, with the amount of actionable stocks out there, but we're also teaching everyone to fish as well, which we know is much appreciated. And it's really great to get that feedback from our audience and hear from you all what stocks you're watching. And a good amount of those we try to take a look at on the show as well. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no doubt. And there was only 3 stocks that we talked about in today's video, but of course there were a lot of actionable stocks discussed this morning on IBD Live. So it's just a great place to get ideas and actionable ideas as well.
That's right. And you can learn more by going to investors.com/IBD Live. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you back here tomorrow.